Today we're checking out if the Sonicake Matribox 2 Pro can do 80s tones. The Sonicake Matribox 2 Pro is a modeling unit which shares the same software like the Valeton GP-200 and the Hotone Ampero 1 and some amps of the Hotone Ampero 2 stage. But it's more powerful than the Hotone Ampero 1 and also than the Valeton GP-200. So in short, it's a little bit more flexible regarding the effects chain. I did a video about that, comparison video with the Valeton GP-200. So if you're interested in that, please check out that video. But today I would like to show you what I did with one of my favorite amp models, which is the JCM800. Here you have the editor, and you have the tone in the intro. That was one patch from my preset pack, which I'm releasing soon. Preset pack with the best hiking tones ever for that unit. As for all the other modeling units, you can get my preset packs if you contact me on Facebook or Instagram. Links are in the description below. And please consider subscribing to my channel if you haven't already. It helps me a lot. So here we have the chain and tone with the JCM800. We saturated. Let's turn off the rack delay. So this is a rhythm tone with a little bit of reverb. To me it sounds pretty much like the JCM800 tones which I know from the 80s. Of course with a little bit more distortion. You can dial back the gain here in the drive block. I'm using a tube screamer, so if I turn that off, well, it's a nice crunch tone. Obviously, I didn't crank the gain here. If I do this, it gets a little bit flubby sometimes in the bass, especially if you play on the neck pickup. So I wouldn't recommend to crank the gain here with this model. Some modeling units you can crank the gain in the JCM800 model. But here, with the tube screamer, you get these high gain tones with, well, the reason why I like the JCM800 is the tone stack, which fits nice in most rock metal mixing scenarios. So and together with the drive block you get the high saturation out of the amp with a little bit of a chorus. You have this nice 80s crunch tones. Also, maybe you can use a little bit of a higher setting here. You have this these nice grunge tones. Of course, for leads you could also use a screamer here together. So really nice. And also, of course, it's a very dynamic amp. This modeling unit has more CPU power than Valeton, I guess, so as a result you get a little bit more dynamics out of the amp. And what I also would like to mention is you can play around with the drive blocks, and that is also changing the behavior of the amp pretty much. So I did another patch here where I'm using the governor, Marshall governor pedal, and it's also nice. Here you have an EQ in the drive block, which makes it even more powerful. Usually people tend to boost the mids, which is what the tube screamer does. Nice, well, tube breakup tones. I don't know exactly about the architecture of the amp, but I guess it doesn't have a shitload of input gain stages, so the one it has, or the two, they are driven quite hard. Sometimes clipping in some frequencies, but that is what makes the character of this amp. Makes these bloomy lead sounds here that seem to open up a little bit. They're not that tight, but as a result they're pretty huge. If you have these nice sustaining notes on the neck pickup. But with the tube screamer again. Rolling back the volume. It's also pretty nice that if you roll back the volume, even with the drive block engaged, you can get nice crunch tones. Just crank the volume, you're in full lead mode. By the way, my patches, I'm connecting different of the control switches to different settings of the patch, so usually one patch comes with a clean scene and a crunch scene, also rhythm scene, lead scene. Which I will show you in another video, but if you're using this preset with the JCM800, you got a lot more options just by using a versatile guitar like this Harley Benton Fusion. Roll back the volume, split the humbuckers, and we have nice strat tones. Maybe you should use the chorus for that. Roll it back a little bit more. Oh, forgot to turn it on. Okay, let's check out some of the other pedals. What I personally like to use is a pedal with a little bit of distortion. So I'm using the Boss Super OD for that purpose. Let's try out the warm OD. Well, they all seem to work. I recommend to use something which doesn't have that much bass frequencies. But if you don't want to play around with the drive blocks, I recommend to start with the Tube Screamer or with the Super OD. This seems to be the tightest. By the way, I'm using a stock cab and an EQ. Without the EQ, sounds a little bit more mid-heavy, and I applied a high cut, so without the high cut and without the EQ, sounds more raw. Might be good for recording situations, but I think I set that patch up for live usage, and therefore usually I'm cutting the highs drastically, removing some of the annoying mids. So that's it for today. I hope this helps you to get an impression. I can only say again that this unit is really a really good bang for the buck, because yeah, it's very flexible, very powerful, and if you don't need the 8-foot switches of the Valeton GP-200, I would choose this unit over the GP-200 because it's more flexible regarding the effects chain. What both units are missing still, and that is a little bit of a bummer, is that they don't come with a proper MIDI implementation. They do have MIDI ins and outs, but they don't implement still MIDI. To send MIDI program control changes, which I need personally because I use these units in my live setup in combination with a loop station. Anyway, so I hope this helps you. Again, please consider subscribing my channel if you haven't already. See ya.